All right, how's it going, everybody? Kicking off 5 tables here, stars. Well, just 4 technically, and we'll uncheck the wait for big blinds, so you guys don't have to wait. Trying to get another table going here. Looks like somebody's sitting down. Vinstermaster. So far we won a couple small pots. I was just trying to get 5 tables up and running before we started this video. We'll go for half an hour, so we'll end this at 3:05. Mr. 3:05, if you will. Check back the 5s here. I don't think much worse is calling us. We can still call a bet. I guess now we can get called by maybe a 6, maybe a 4. And just win it a lot of the time outright. Folding the ace-9 off. Whoa. Yawn inbound. Pocket fours will continue the trend here. Hopefully we can get a family pot. We are in position. Pocket queens at the bottom. We're going to size up a little bit more. Our stacks are a little bit deeper, and he's labeled green, so he's more likely to call weaker. He does call. And I think a hand like ace 10, ace jack would call bet here, obviously, especially with diamonds. I think all pairs would call 6s through 10s. So I think we just size up and try to get it in on the turn, as long as we like the turn, of course. We definitely do not like the turn. Got a lot of aces. I think if he checks back here, we're probably good, but if he bets, we just have to let go. It's too bad. And now we're chopping and probably losing to a flush. Check, check. Nice run out. Thank you, Pokerstars. So we were bang on. I mean, as far as sizing up and betting pretty big on the flop and getting called by much weaker. He's not the guy that's going to be fooled into our bets. We know that. Actually, let's make a note. Do not bluff. A7 of diamonds. We flop top pair. Weak kicker. We are going to check this back on a rainbow board. There's not much that's going to, other than a king, obviously, make us miserable. And he does come. The king comes, and then he comes out betting. But we check back flop to try and induce this kind of stuff. So I think we're just going to be calling 2 now. And he can't be putting us on an ace. This is almost always a king, I suppose. I want to look him up. Aces, kings, 9 kicker. We lose to pretty much all aces. He's labeled green, so it's more likely that he's bluffing, but not this time. Okay, nice hand. Sometimes we level ourselves there when we check back top pair, because we just induce so many more bluffs on the turn in the river. When you check back flop, they don't think you have an ace, so sometimes they just start turning their hand into a bluff and trying to rep the ace themselves. Down here, I'm going to go for an overbet. Basically, flush draw. Calling here and raising here again, because we know this guy's going to be calling much weaker. Calls, not a great flop. But we have a lot of queens in our range. We can hit a king to get the best hand. He's got way more 10s, so we're probably check giving up now. And I don't know if he's ever checking back a 10. Could have the same hand as us. Calling here for 8 more with 7s. I think we check call here. Could have backed it. He could have backdoored into a flush some of the time, but I think he's gonna have like nines a lot, or like, wow, look, he had nothing. He had literally nothing. The tender min raised us here, and we got one overcard. He can have ace king, and then he's gonna have all his ace queens, all his king queens, his aces, his kings, and his queens, and then his jacks and tens. So pretty much his entire range smashes us. I'm just folding now on this. King high here. I don't know how often we're gonna win, so let's put out a 1/3 bet, one and done. We can maybe get ace highs to fold, and we do. Eight nine suited, complete with ace deuce off versus these two guys. Wow, that's a nice flop. Check. Hopefully somebody opens the betting, and they don't. Now we chop, and we're at risk of losing. So horrible turn card. Amazing flop and a horrible turn card. Just call. I don't think anyone's got anything. We lose the ace 10 now. And again, I don't think anyone's got anything, but I just want to raise enough to get called by a 10. Obviously, an ace is going to reship, so we don't really have... We're just trying to target like pocket fours or something, or a 10, or... Eight fold. Ace is a horrible card there. We're gonna let that go versus Goez, who's also a decent player. The tender's also a decent player. I actually haven't seen him much, but I know he's good. I do know he's good. So we are gonna label him, and he does have some of the tells of being a good player. It's funny, little things like kind of tip people off. Tip you off, rather, to what kind of a player somebody is. This guy here has got perfect capital T, followed by lowercase, then perfect T with tender, followed by a number. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but there is a little wee bit of OCD showing there, which shows that he's probably a very good player in the sense that he's organized and disciplined. It's very different than... Here, let's see if I can find a good example. Like, I don't really have one right now, but let's see. Huron_Fen. No capitals in that. No capitals in his name. So that's our tell. That's the point we're at here in online poker. We're getting tells based off whether or not you got a capital in your name. And listen, there's probably a 0.4% chance that that's true, but I think it makes a 0.4% chance of a difference in our reads. So we're gonna be looking at letters going forward. Just kidding. Mostly we're looking at stack sizes. Like Alex Duong over here, he's got 24 big blinds. He stinks. I would have to assume. Huron Fen, 28 big blinds. Even Sedge here, he's got under 100, is not on auto reload. Hot dog bun, short stack, green, auto green for me. You just handicap yourself so much. Like what if you put in one or two bets and then, like, you know, the river comes a great card for you to bluff, and you can't do that because your stack's not big enough. You just like handcuff yourself, right? You literally are forcing yourself to have to get lucky. You can't outplay guys. You can't outskill guys when you're like that. So you can't represent a card. You can't do that. And the reality is a lot of these guys aren't going to do that anyway. They're not trying to represent something. They're not bluffing. They're not, you know. That's the reality. And that's part of why they don't care that they're short stacked, because they wouldn't rep a card anyway, you know. And it's just... it hinders their success at the table. It hinders the amount of pots they can win. It hinders, it hinders, you know, like whether or not they're going to get paid. It's going to be much more difficult for them to get paid because when they do put their money in, well, they probably have it, right? And yeah. The problem is they don't make a hand anywhere near often enough, so they end up putting such little amounts of money in very often, and their stack dwindles until they have almost nothing. And then when they do finally get it in, it's like they double up back to whatever their initial starting stack was anyway. So it's not even like they made money. So the only way they can really win is if they get like 7-8 good hands in a row and then get off. But eventually they're going to just lose all of it because they're not playing proper poker. I'm just going to call it fours here. I check called here because some straights get there. I'm going to be check calling here rather. Some straights get there. He's still going to be betting his 2 pair. He may be betting a top pair. I'm going to check call here again on this river. It is possible we are beat. Although maybe a hand like Jack 9, but yeah, I don't know. Doesn't feel like we're winning. Goez is not much of a bluffing player either. Gonna isolate this fish here with King Queen, get it in probably. Just gonna call here Jack 10. Yeah, Queen 9. It's a good thing we didn't lead out on that turn because he would have just raised us and we would have been in a world of hurt. So we lost the minimum there. 4s we can fold now. 8s, call 1 with the backdoor flush draw. Now we have an open ender to go with it. We can rep that flush, which I think I'm going to do on this turn if he bets. Although he should be checking back a lot of these turns. Folding to a 4-bet here from Outlier. He doesn't check back this turn, but I'm gonna go for a representation here because even just a 9 is a straight. We can still have a flush, and we have an open ender to a higher straight. So we're gonna try and combine all of that beautifulness. He may have a draw himself that has to call here. So we're gonna reevaluate on river if he does call. If he shoves here, obviously we fold. Okay. Now hands that call here are probably King Queen with a King of Spades or Ace Queen with an Ace of Spades, something along those lines. And we can't win with an 8, so I think we are going to go for it. We're in bluff mode. And he can just have a flush sometimes too. We do block some of the full houses. We're going for it. Okay, so he doesn't have a boat, and he probably doesn't have a flush, which is good news. Shows the 9 of diamonds. So we got him to fold the straight. Should have showed the bluff. Mike Junction, you'll have to tune into my YouTube channel and see that bluff. That's the only way you're going to see it, unfortunately. But the bluff does get through. The king is relevant too. We block some of the higher straights. Uh, 10-8. You know what? I am going to defend here with 10-8 out of position just because he's been 3-betting and 4-betting us quite a bit. So I'm going to call. And look, he's up here. He's 3-betting us as well. So I'm going to call up here too in position. We flop the world down here. And we're going to give up top left. So this guy's clearly out to get us. Checks back. What hands check back? Could be a flopped flush himself. Could be ace queen with the ace of spades, but I think that would probably bet small. And then it could be like pocket jacks with the jack of spade. I'm just gonna bet small enough that jacks calls. If a 9 of spades comes, we have a straight flush. So that's out. We have a little bit of protection against a 4 flush. That could counterfeit our lower flush. He just calls. And again, I think jacks would just call. and like also nutted spades. So it looks like he's trying to get the showdown, so I'm not going to let him do that. I am going to size up here now. And hopefully get called by jacks. He does call. Let's see what he had, shall we? King, queen. Surprised that checks back, but I mean, it's not a bad check back. It's not a bad check back. He may have saved a little bit of money playing it that way. I almost went for an overbet on that river, too. But that's what you get, bud. That's what you get when you're 3-betting us. Don't tussle with the bear, all right? Do not do that. I wrote the book. I wrote the book on 3-bets. We'll raise up Hot Dog Bun here. Not too big, though. He's only got a 40 big blind stack. I do want to see a flop. I also want to play it heads up. That's why I'm raising a little bit. I feel like if I just flat here, not only am I out of position, I can't rep as many hands, but then this guy here may squeeze us. And I don't know, it all falls apart after that. So I feel like it just works better as a 3-bet. Yeah, we risk getting 4-bet shoved on, then we got to fold anyway. But I still feel like this is the better option because at least we get a little bit of fold equity to go with our hand equity. This guy min raises, which we will be calling with a hand like Jack 10 suited. We're out of position, which sucks, but this is not the first time he's min raised us either. But we're going to see a flop. Not a good one. Tempted to float here. We're in such a world of hurt out of position. Like he'd be min raising with aces through queens. Or he could have a hand like ace king and be raising small to keep hands like my ace queens and ace jacks and ace tens in there. That way he's got me dominated. I'm gonna float one, just one. We flop a set down here. We're gonna go for a check raise versus this guy who we know is a call station. And I'm gonna take the betting lead top left. It's possible we just have to bet fold here, but I am gonna do it. And I'm gonna bet 28. Now I'm going to bet down here with pocket twos. We can get called by quite a bit. Any queen's going to call. Any clubs are going to call. A 10 might call with a queen. We lose the ace queen, of course. Up here, it's going to be he just flats. And yeah, we're beat. We're beat. So we just lit $100 on fire up here. Down here, the flush comes in, but also the boat. I don't know how many. I think we go for a check raise here. I think we go for a check raise. He's going to have some 2 pairs and some higher boats. Oh, he snapped check back. Let's see if he had a hand that was calling us. He had a flush, and he checked back a flush. Wow. We missed value there. And we missed value here. I bet you he calls us with ace king high, though. I bet you he calls us with ace king high if we bluff that river. So a missed bet here and a missed bet perhaps up here, but I feel like he was going to pick us off with ace king high if we shoved. Nice hand tender. Yeah, we're good player. Good player. Very nice just flat. I mean, I'm going to have like pocket tens there a lot too, so I don't mind bluffing. I'm going to have jacks a lot there. I'm going to have nines. So he's lighting 28 bigs on fire every time I have those hands and he doesn't. And he just calls that turn. He's lighting money on fire, basically. Especially because the fact he didn't bluff that river with the ace king shows that he thought he was good with ace high. Because if he wasn't good, or didn't think he was good with ace high, he would have jammed that river. So that's why I'm thinking he may have picked me off. I bet again on that river. He was feeling like he was good already. $10 more minutes and we'll wrap this video up. Nothing crazy. I think we're, I don't know, around even. We torched $100 here versus that guy. We lost the bet down here, but we're up a little. And we're up a little bit here. I don't know if I'm forgetting about any other hands that were significant, but oh, Jack 10 over here versus Goaz. That hand there, we lost a little bit. He checks back here. That represents that he may have a deuce in his hand or pocket threes or an ace high himself. That's probably better than our ace high. Versus Wurtzel, I am going to call with sevens here because he's put his money in. Like, this is typically a fold or possibly a 4-bet. But he has put his money in so bad in the past that I'm just going to try and hit a set and then continue. And then with the ace-6 high here, I'm going to call 1 and give up if he bets this river. And we were good with our ace high. That's why we called 1. Tempted to turn this into a bluff here. I have probably the most tens, and he's got the second most tens, and I don't know how many of them have spades, but we're going to go for it. I mean, he could have backdoored into a full house or queens full of aces, perhaps. And he folds 7-8 suited. Oh, let's go. Let's go. Yeah, like we have, you know, 10 is the highest spade on that board. So he says savings. So my image is good. These guys think I'm just value towning all day, but little do they know I am bluffing into 2 opponents there with absolute air. Poor guy, 7-8 suited, he got counterfeit. It's hard enough to make a flush, but then when you do finally make that flush, they give you 1 too many spades or 1 too many clubs or diamonds or hearts. And then you have basically a low flush on a 4 flush board. And that doesn't feel good. It's not like you can really make a lot of money when that's the case. I'm going to raise here versus Sedge, who isn't the strongest player that I've seen so far. This board is a board that's going to smash him more than it smashes me. And I have decent equity here. I don't want to push myself off a hand. So we'll see what he bets. And I can always go for a check raise. I can peel 1 even. A heart can come on the turn 2, giving us more equity. There you go. And now, I'm comfortable betting, calling off. And then if he calls, I'm comfortable double barreling. Just complete bluff on the river if he does call. And he does. And again, we're going to go for it. Possibly check back a 9, although unlikely now, especially that another 9 has come. I do feel like he has his finger on the call button, though. But, I mean, hey, we're going to stick to our plan. We're going to stick to our plan. Our plan was to bluff this, the turn, when the heart came, and then go for it on the river if it bricks. So, we're going for it. Let's go. Let's go. We stick to our plan. It works. We get it through. He may have had hearts himself. Couple key bluffs gotten through on this session. Hope you guys are enjoying the heart. The heart, baby. The heart. Just calling here with King Queen. I'm already heads up with the guy. There's no point in bloating it out of position with an offsuit King Queen. And Sedge, who must be tilting, just min raises me. Fine, I'll call a min raise. That's a horrible flop. We're folding now. 1 and done here with the 6s. Unless it's a 7 or a 3 on the turn. Fold, fold, fold to a pot size bet. The ace makes it less likely that we have an ace, and more likely that he'll continue to bluff catch me with a hand like 8s or 9s if he has that. So I'm just going to check back. We still are ahead of diamonds, like Jack 10 of diamonds, Queen Jack of diamonds, stuff like that. Folding ace 4 here versus outlier. And the big sizing to me looks like I mean, I want to go into bluff catch mode here. It's crazy. It's pocket 8s or we block 6, 7, and it's like an ace or brick diamonds. He's got Queen Jack of diamonds, King Jack of diamonds, King Queen of diamonds. Tough spot here. Tough spot. 9s wouldn't do this. So pocket 8s are an ace or brick diamonds. Okay, you have it. You have it. I think that was a bluff, but you can go ahead and have it. Ace high might be good some of the time. Top right. Probably not. 3s. Maybe could have got him off that with a second bet. But we just put 3 bluffs in. I don't want to be bluffing too much, you know? I'm trying to watch my frequencies over here. Folding 6s to Mike Junction. 5 more minutes. We'll wrap this video up. The date today is November 18th, 2023. We are, I think, a little bit down now. It's been pretty much a break-even session. There's a lot of these. King 9 open, bottom left. He folds. King Queen suited, bottom left. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get some exciting hands in here before this video ends. The claw I'm going to be isolating with ace 9 off. Not a normal isolation, but he's been bleeding chips for a while. And I wouldn't mind playing a pot against him in position. He just flats. This is a board where, because I know how sticky he is, I can go 1/3, but I know he's probably going to call 1/3 a lot. So I prefer a one and done larger sizing here in this spot, especially because he just called. The only hands he can really have are King Queen, maybe King Jack. So I've got more kings than him. Could always turn an ace as well, but that gets through. We pick up queens up here against Mike Junction's open. We'll see what Wirm of Shiv does. And we're going to come in for a 3-bet with the queens in the small blind. We have aces top left. Here we go. Heating up. He folds. Any action with aces? Action. Can we get action here? Aces. 3.5 bigs for aces. No, no action. Classic. I know you can all relate to that. You pick up aces, either everybody folds you in the big blind, or you open and everyone folds. And then the one time you get played back at, the guy's got kings, you get it all in, he nails a king, right? Classic. Classic. Calling here versus Wirm of Shiv. Going to be giving up on that board. We do block some king-queen combos. But he's just going to make our life a living hell here on this kind of a board. Even if he doesn't have shit, he can rep that king all day whenever he chooses. He can rep it on the flop, he can rep it on the turn, he can rep it on the river. We have aces top right. He could have the same hand as me, although I would have a really hard time imagining why he wouldn't just like bet 1/3 on flop. So I think we lose here almost always. He probably got 10s or something, maybe jacks. 10s or jacks. Wow. Would love to know what he had. Maybe it was ace jack. Yep, ace jack. Okay. Interesting to me that he's got no bluffs on that board with those kings. So, like, not bluffing, right? You're not bluffing there for 1/3. You're just not bluffing. Ever. I'm going to try to isolate this guy small 3-bet. Again, I want to play in lots of hands against the claw. The claw. I'm going to check this flop. And when he checks turn, I'm gonna barrel the turn as a bluff. Snaps that off. And I think we just lose now. To probably... I mean, he doesn't have an ace. He doesn't have a 9. Tempted to call here with queen high. Very tempted. Could be some kind of backdoor flush. We have a jack of clubs, though. Blocker betting the 4-5 here now. All right, take it. I'm tempted to call with queen high. Like, show your bluff, bud. Please. Like, he's opening every hand, right? Definitely isolating him again with 9-7 suited. But I would expect one of these players to catch on and maybe put in a 4-bet here soon. Nope. The claw comes in again. Flop middle pair. He's going to have like jack 10s, king queens, queen jacks. We know he's calling wide, right? 3-betting up here with 6-7. I'm going to check back to 9-7. Try to hit a spade. And I think now just bet really small. Calls. And we're ahead of 7s. We're ahead of 8s. We're losing to better 9s, 10s, and jacks. But I think we can get called by like 7s. He folds. He doesn't even have 7s. Worm of PHEW calls the 3-bet. That nails our range, but we have a 6 to go with it and a backdoor flush draw. So we will try to rep this. This will be a 2-barrel board. He's gonna have 8s. He's gonna have 9s. He's gonna have some 10s and some ace 10s as well, and then he'll have like some queen jack suiteds, possibly some king queens, but everything else pretty much folds, and it does. All right, last hand here. We'll wrap these sorry, these are the last 2 hands, and we'll wrap this up. I'm gonna just sit out on all tables here very quickly. Isolating Hero Fen with ace king. Try to hit a deuce of hearts here for the final seconds of this video. No dice, but we are gonna bet 1/3 on this flop. We do have a lot of aces, and that gets through. What do I want to do here? I think he's gonna have probably all of these pairs in his range. He's gonna have all the same hands as me: queen jack, jack 10, all that stuff. Queen jack, like he's calling too wide for sure. He's gonna have like ace 10, which we're ahead of. He's gonna have 7s through 10s, which we have decent, somewhat equity against. We can hit an ace or a king still on the turn or river. So I'm gonna start with a bet. There's our ace on the turn. Lucky, I know, but I don't know. This is part of my plan. So I'm gonna size down now. I want whatever he called me with on the flop to call me again on this turn. So we'll size down small enough that it calls again on this turn. And now we lose the ace 10 and pocket 10s. But we still beat pocket 6s through 9s. We still beat weaker aces like ace jack. Yeah, we lose the ace 10, but I'm going to go for it here. I feel like he would have donk bet his ace 10 on this river. So I'm going to try to get value out of like 9s, maybe 7s through 9s. And he folds. So I think we milked him the best that we could. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Again, we're releasing these daily. We're going to try and stay disciplined and do that. And please follow, like, share, and subscribe. and I will continue doing these. We've been growing steadily so far every day, so as long as we're growing steadily, I'm going to keep releasing these videos. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and take care.